Back to the Future. I was trying to nitpick this movie.
Like they always do.
And I was trying to like look for bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
They answered my question that I was going to nitpick.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, damn, touche, movie, touche. It's just everything is a perfect damn puzzle. And I'm like, I can't on it. Fuck you, movie. Welcome to List. This is a show where we pluck out a name out of an all-time watch list, hang out, talk about the movie, drop a couple facts, and the movie we're scratching off the list today is a 1985 all-time classic, Back to the Future. Marty McFly, a 17-year-old high school student, is accidentally sent 30 years into the past in a time-traveling DeLorean invented by his close friend, the maverick scientist, Doc Brown.
One of the best movies ever.
Y'all ready? I've never seen the D1 before.
Move this man!
Are you serious?
Stupido.
Never in my life.
Never.
I said that to my dad. He's like, what? You never seen it? It was your job to show it to me, puto.
Just handling the hot potato to your dad.
Seaway, it was your job to show this shit to me. No, instead you're like, let's go see Mortal Kombat. What do you mean? What about the day one?
The Mortal Kombat is good too, man.
But it's not Back to the Future where
Like, I knew it was regarded one of the best movies of all time. That was never in question for me, right? As an outsider without watching the movie. I had the gist of the movie down pretty well, I thought. Like, I knew what was going to happen. Like, from bits and pieces I've collected about the movie throughout my whole lifetime. But even though without me watching it, I'm not going to say, oh, just because you know these bits and pieces, don't watch it. It's definitely a must watch if you haven't seen it ever in your life. Definitely 100% watch it. I'm willing to say it's damn near a perfect film. I love how it was like a thing prior to the 2000s and some of the early 2000s as well, of having like an automated house, right? That's like everybody's thing.
Yeah, I mean that was the Jetsons idea.
Right. We're kind of close to it. I mean, if you buy a Roomba and if you buy certain coffees that you can set the time, we can have that, hook up your Alexa to your house.
Well, yeah, you can do it through your phone right now.
There's plenty of things that we could do to get pretty close to that. And it's just kind of wild. It was like, that's what they're aspiring to do, to serve burnt toast for yourself. I think Marty McFly might be one of the coolest names in movie history, right?
It's sticky.
Yeah. It's short. It's a it's a short name.
I mean, it fits.
Yeah, it's a short name, but it's also flashy.
Zemeckis, who's a co-writer, shortened it. It was actually going to be Marty McDermott.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
That's so good, yeah.
His look is very iconic too. It's just jeans and an orange vest.
The lightsaber vest. Coast Guard.
And that was like just the go-to easiest Halloween costume, right?
If you're a short king, slap that on and you're Marty McFly.
Yeah, the puffy vest, man.
And it works. He had a cutie ass girlfriend, man.
Yeah.
He had money, right?
No.
Oh, well, yeah, not at first.
It took me a second when I saw her on screen. I didn't know it was his love interest because at one point he literally checks out a gang of girls right in front of her.
Yeah.
So I thought she was like his friend, but then 2 seconds later after that they were making out or trying to, and it's like, damn, the balls on little ass Marty. He literally checks out this gang of girls in front of the girl. Damn, ese cabrón.
There were different times, bro.
Well, in the 80s, but then they go back to the future and worse stuff happens. We'll get into that in a second. I didn't fully understand why he was hanging out with Doc a whole lot. And I guess what I put together with watching the movies, because his dad is such a loser that he has to look up to somebody else, and he used him as a mentor.
He was such an underachiever. And I mean, you get it as the movie progresses, why and how things came to pass.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always, and it's all natural that you try to find somebody to show you the ropes.
Yeah, they don't explain a lot how they met or how the background. It's just their friends, and they're doing stuff together.
And they don't have to explain it either. You kind of put two and two together.
It was explained in one of the early scripts, but I guess it just got stripped so much that it was eventually just left out. So they just go without explaining it, really.
Because the principal says kind of like, why you hang out with that
Right.
nut job? So probably he was a professor at the school.
Well, that story is told in his house, right? He had a mansion and he had a giant property because when he goes back in time, he's in a mansion.
Yeah.
Right? So he had money. So in the address that he's looking up in the past
In the phone book,
is the
mansion.
mansion.
Yeah.
And then in this house, when they're panning over all his stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the address is different, but it's only off by a couple numbers, meaning that he now lives in the garage of the mansion, because in one of the newspaper clippings it said that he sold the property. So he lived in a mansion because he was this mad scientist, and then he sold the property and he just stayed in the garage of the property. The one thing I did get wrong going in, I thought that Biff was Marty's bully, not the dad's bully. So I did get that wrong.
He's the bulliest of the bullies, man. That actor fits Biff. He's like meant to be, man.
He's like a perfect bully. He's just big, goofy, stupid, right?
How old were they supposed to be? Because Biff looks like 30.
So I did think that the prosthetics on that looked pretty good, but because I didn't know how old they were supposed to be, they were supposed to be around 47.
Uh-huh.
But contrasting how they look in the beginning and at the end, I'm like, oh, okay, because at the end they're just a little older, but they're not as messed up, you know?
Simon.
So it's because they're unhappy and poor that they look janky, and at the end they looked a little bit better, you know?
Happier.
It did take 3 hours to put that makeup on 23-year-old Leah Thompson to turn her into a 47-year-old Lorraine.
Oh, Leah Thompson.
Damn.
Bruh.
Damn.
Verga, güey.
Damn. And then she was like, oh, I'm hot. Was my daughter hot too? Because she looks exactly the same. Damn. Double damn.
Sí, güey.
Other thing I didn't know. I didn't know Marty had siblings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I was like, who the f are you?
You haven't watched the movie. How could you know this?
He's trying to prevent him self-preservation, but also his brother siblings from disappearing.
Well, there's no hatred between them. They kind of care about each other a little bit, you know?
Simon.
It's not usually like, shut up, you f***wad, or whatever, you know? They're not, there's no banter, negative banter between them really a whole lot. But going back to Doc, I do think he's a great all-time wacky character. One of the early scripts was he was just going to be a professor, and Marty was going to be calling him Prof. So that's a little bit more towards that backstory. I do want to give a fantastic shout out to the Doogie Einstein.
Yeah, I knew it.
I did think he was gonna die, and I was gonna cry.
You could have cried.
No, they can never kill a dog. Right?
Go back to the future and save him.
Hell yeah!
I think Doc Brown is the best wacky doctor ever.
Yeah,
When you say crazy scientist, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I guess Doc Brown now.
Yeah.
But before that, Rick Sanchez, who's based off of Doc Brown.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Yes.
So it's like the same thing. So Doc Brown. Also, one of the ideas in the beginning was not to have a doggy, but to have a monkey instead.
It would track.
Co-writer Bob Gale said movies with monkeys don't do well, so they switched him out for a doggy.
Kind of cute, but the dog's more trainable than monkeys.
Yeah.
Monkeys, they could pick up the car before they start shooting it.
Speaking of cars, the DeLorean is a very iconic design as well. And it's just all the stuff that they added to it makes it look like a spaceship. And that's the reason why it was picked. They were actually offered a lot of money for the car to be a Mustang instead.
Oh, would have been beautiful.
But co-writer Bob Gale said, quote, Doc Brown doesn't drive a f***ing Ford Mustang.
That is true. I mean, Doc Brown is a nerd. What do you expect he was going
car
to
still
drive?
holds up to today, man. DeLorean is kind of...
The DeLorean at that time was just barely becoming a thing.
Yeah.
So because of the movie, it kind of shut off. And then after that, I mean, stuff happened and it's no longer a thing. It's coming back now.
Mm-hmm.
But the creator of the DeLorean actually thanked the creator of the movie and everybody, and even like, I don't know, for some reason, Doc Brown, for using it, because they forever immortalized the DeLorean in the movie. And that's 100% true.
If I remember correctly, It's one of the worst cars ever.
Yeah, I mean, it failed. Like, it wasn't commercially successful.
Hell no. It was horrible. I've watched videos and like many documentaries about this car, and it just sucks balls away. How you travel to the past or around time is you go 88 miles per hour.
You have to hit 88 miles per hour. You have to have a flux capacitor, and you have to hit 1.1 gigawatts.
I think the car doesn't even hit 80
In real life.
In real life.
in
right.
real life. Yes.
Well, they only went with it simply because it looked like a spaceship, and they wanted to do that Tales from the Space joke with the kid back in time. That's the only reason why they went with it.
Yeah, and I get it, and I totally get it, and I'm behind all that. But it's just hilarious that a piece of shit car is so iconic now.
Yeah. Another thing I did not expect the movie was Doc to get lit the fuck up.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what the terrorist? Wait, what?
Was it the first 20 minutes he gets lit up?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell
Bro,
going
if he stole
on?
for plutonium.
And I like how they were building up to the time travel, right? He, as I read in the synopsis, he accidentally goes. He wasn't trying to go. He was trying to get rid of the terror. He was trying to like drive away from the terrorists.
He was escaping, yeah.
Yeah, because he was about to get iced.
So that's like written brilliantly. He wasn't running away to the past. He accidentally did it, and it just makes sense because he was just trying to get away.
Even the date was set up not on purpose. Like Doc just put it up because I want to go.
That's what I mean. How the movie's perfect.
Yeah. So
Because everything fits perfectly.
And even as a series, there's things that happen in this movie that have repercussions in later movies.
I did spot somebody else in Biff's crew. Did you guys did?
No.
But one of the bullies is actually Billy Zane.
No mames.
Jeepers Creepers.
He was in the back.
They didn't show too much of him, right?
No, he doesn't have a line. I think he has a line in the second movie.
Okay.
Did you know it was Billy Zane? If you did, then you should subscribe because we both knew and we're both awesome. If you didn't know, you should subscribe anyway because that way you can know.
Yeah.
So make sure you click that thing. What we didn't know either that his dad was a creep.
Oh, Jesus.
Climbing trees, cabrón. That's how you met because you fell out of the tree and almost got run over.
It was daddy.
Damn.
But peeping on the girls is like kind of real.
I mean, back in the 50s, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also written brilliantly because he doesn't know that that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
He just sees his dad about to get run over, right? He didn't know he was supposed to not do that. And then by doing that, he takes place of his dad and then gets him some weird with his mama.
Oh my God. I mean, there's Leah Thompson.
It's called incest, cabrón.
I know it's called incest, but in my mind goes like, Leah Thompson.
Yeah, but she's not your mama.
No, I mean, once I start thinking about it, I start getting the heebie-jeebies.
We can say, Leah Thompson. He can't say, Leah Thompson. Okay?
No, even though he kind of thinks about it, it was like, oh, she's mom.
That's what I was going to ask. He's acting all weird, but is he acting weird because he's attracted to his mom or because his mom is horny for him?
Because his mom's horny for him.
Because he says, Mom, you're so thin. He was going to say you're hot.
No, at first, he was like, damn. But then it was like,
I mean, it's all a messed up situation, and it only gets weirder in the car.
Calvin.
oh, damn, yeah.
Yeah. I would have been like, dude, I'm gay, you know? Then you can f***ing die.
Yeah, they would open another can.
What? I forget where we're on, so I'm just gonna move on. I didn't see Doc changing a whole lot. Like I saw his neck in the beginning had like prosthetics to make him look old.
Like a wrinkles, yeah.
In the past, he looks kind of the same, just with shorter hair, I guess.
Yeah, but less wrinkles. You can notice he's younger.
And was that dog supposed to be Einstein? It's 30 years in the past. It can't be.
It can't be Einstein. Maybe he's a dog lover.
Einstein's parent. And he just keeps calling, because I was waiting for him to say, "Oh, look at baby Einstein," and they never addressed the name of the dog.
No.
But I saw a puppy. You're not gonna lie to me.
Yeah.
I know Spielberg produced the movie, but his classics, his very good ones, because not every single movie he's produced is a classic, but the good ones, they're all just so rich, like in dialogue and storytelling, and everything just fits perfectly like a puzzle and it makes sense. Like the comments on the BB Uncle, right? He likes to be
Bars.
in the damn cradle or whatever.
Behind bars, yeah.
It feels like no piece of dialogue is rarely wasted. Everything has a point. Everything has a purpose, you know? The damn lightning hitting the tower, it was affected 30 years ago. So it was very, very carefully crafted. And I'm going to get into all the changes, but that makes it even more impressive of how perfectly it fits, even through all the changes that it went through. But yeah, the dad is a goofy ass little creep, and we find out that Biff ain't much better. He basically, for a long time, like, if again with 2020 eyes, you're like, that's traumatizing. How long was she in there with this big ass gorilla just trying to hump her? It's like, god damn. And he's all like, well, go away. It's just like,
Yeah.
the only kind of good thing that does come out of Biff is some of his lines, like make like a tree and get out of here. I heard that one before without me watching the movie, and that plus him calling Marty butthead so much were improvised by Tom Wilson.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
I knew that he had a performance and he danced. Obviously, it's not Michael J. Fox singing and performing. It was actually Huey Lewis and the News. And Huey Lewis has a cameo in the movie. He's actually the school prefect that tells Marty he's too loud when Marty and his band in the future are trying to audition.
Oh, yeah. The pinhead.
Michael J. Fox was going ape though on that guitar. Like, it did look believable. I don't know how to play a guitar, but I bought it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he plays right now, right?
I'm not right now.
I mean,
no.
he plays over the years.
I don't know, but it looked believable. He was messing around with those strings. But speaking about the music, right? As much as everything I knew about the music going in, you can yell at me in the comments. Go right ahead. I'm going to be wrong. Yell at me. But if you yell at me, make sure you subscribe. Even though the score is great, I don't think it's recognizable. To me, it's not an iconic song. Before we started recording, you asked what's the theme. Because you couldn't remember.
I kind of hear it like every time I see that car.
It turns into Superman for a second in my brain when I hear it.
The trumpet.
It's kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like that's off though. Because if I say do Jaws, you like, you know,
Yeah.
Star Wars, like we got it,
Yeah.
right? Back to the Future, you're like, is that right? I just don't know if that's right. Again, yell at me in the comments. I'm a stupido. Hit me. I was trying to nitpick this movie
Like they always do.
and I was trying to like look for bull, right? And even when I was trying to nitpick it, like when he's running late, right after he performs, he shows up in a different attire, and my brain goes, "Why the hell would you change?" And what did they do 2 seconds later? He goes like,
Hey, come on! I had to change. You think I'm going back in that suit?
they answered my question that I was going to nitpick.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, damn, touche, movie, touche. It's just stuff like that paid attention to the little things that makes it the closest thing to a perfect movie, in my opinion. And it's super subtle. Like, also, right after that, he goes,
He laid out Biff in one punch. I didn't know he had an enemy. He's never stood up to Biff in his life. Ever? No, why? What's the matter? All right.
like, that shouldn't have happened, right? Recognizing and that something huge could potentially happen in the future, but he ignores it. He's like, okay, we got time. We'll worry about that later. And that means what Marty ends up finding when he goes back to the future, right? Everything has changed.
Yeah, everything changes.
It's just everything is a perfect damn
Exactly.
puzzle, and I'm like, I can't on it. You movie.
Yeah.
I was having questions, and the movie kept like fixing it for me. So I was like, okay, how would you feel if this happens to you? Like, you have a good life, you come back and you're rich now, but you still have the experiences you had before you were rich, right? So you're not the same person you would be. So you didn't grow up with all these nice things. You didn't grow up with these parents. You still have whatever traumas you have of having a loser dad and an overweight mom, which she would just be considered thick today, right? Would you say that the parents are better at the end?
That's the kind of dad Marty wants, you know, a secure dad, a greater family.
But you're losing your dad, though.
He's just the same dad.
It's not. It's a different guy.
He's the same dad he met in the past, only with a different luck.
It's just a heavy question. And before I get to process it, as I'm being in the movie, Doc shows up and takes him away already. So Marty doesn't have time to process any of it. He's like, I just got here. I want to be rich.
Well, yeah, in that time, it passes minutes away.
Yeah. Well, Crispin Glover also had a problem with it. He felt like the message was that money is an important thing and that was Marty's reward. And he felt that love should have been Marty's reward with his girlfriend. Because we didn't even get to see if money changes Marty.
No. He had the same past.
He's so cool when he's poor. He can only be cooler when he's rich, or he becomes a dweeb. Like, I don't know. I wanted to see that change.
It depends. Well, he gets spoiled because he gets a new truck.
But he doesn't have a chance to enjoy those
but
things.
he gets a new truck. He's gonna enjoy a new life that he wished to have before they got money. But the thing is that the dad was repressed because he's supposed to be a great writer. Now he gets a chance to put out there and
be a great writer.
Yeah, be a great writer. He been successful because he was repressed because of the bully.
They were also going to make him a boxer too, but they thought that was a little too much.
Yeah, and he said the mama,
right?
And then
in the mama phone.
Yeah, he rewrites story in a way, but for his future, and their parents' future was their better future, not his.
Again, it's just crazy to me how damn near perfect the movie is and how much it changed during production. So, at the very beginning of the writing, the time machine wasn't going to be a car. It was actually going to be a fridge. But they thought it was too dangerous to have kids trying to hop in their fridges at home after seeing the movie.
Yeah.
Also, the ending of that fridge feature had Marty hopping into the fridge that was placed in the desert where they needed a nuclear explosion to happen, while he's in the fridge to travel back into the future. So yeah, it's so stupid and wild. It makes no sense. Who in the hell will ever were to do that? I can't possibly imagine somebody using a refrigerator in an explosion. This was Spielberg's way to kind of reuse it or pay homage to it, but it's just a stupid way. Yes, Indiana Jones did it and it made no sense the second time. Also in an early script, Doc and Marty, going back to some of their backstory, had an underground pirated movie operation going on. But Universal wasn't too keen on having the opportunity to glamorize pirating films. At the beginning, whilst writing the movie, it was called Back to the Future. But the head at Universal thought that no one would go see a movie with future in the title. So they had them change it. A couple of the names they had was Doc Brown Visits the Future. So they made it worse.
Yeah.
And then the other one they come up with Spacemen from Pluto.
No.
What? What movie's that? Then none of the movie.
No.
It's wild to also think, as perfect as I'm talking about this movie, that the script was actually rejected 44 times before it got finally greenlit.
You notice that all the great movies, being rejected several times and then come out they're great movies?
Maybe because they don't fit the product wheel that these dumb fat suit guys are so enamored with. They can't see toys. They can't see more. The movie doesn't feed the greed, and they don't think that just because you create a good movie, that equals dollars, that equals money. So it's wild to think that they struggled to find a studio to make the damn thing. Spielberg was always interested from the beginning, but Zemeckis and Gale had worked with Spielberg 2 previous movies before this, and those kind of flopped. They didn't do anything, so they didn't want to really work with Spielberg again in fear of it being a third flop. So he took it to Columbia Pictures, where they said it wasn't PG-13 enough.
Ooh.
They wanted more sex. They wanted more stuff to make it more PG. And they're like, no, this is our movie. Then they took it to Disney. And Disney said, this is too PG-13. And to be fair, they didn't want to be associated with incest. So they had no other choice but to take it to Spielberg, who then took it to Universal.
Yeah.
If you are a Back to the Future fan, you know this whole thing, but there's a lot of people who don't know. The biggest change by far that the film went through was having Eric Stoltz as Marty. Eric Stoltz shot a lot of the movie. It really does depend who you ask. Zemeckis and Gale says that they only shot a couple weeks, and a lot of the crew and most of the cast say that he shot most of the movie. So Stoltz was a method actor, so he asked everyone to call him Marty on set, so that's already annoying. Also, in the scene where he gets into it with Biff in the cafeteria, Biff actor Tom Wilson was getting super frustrated with Stoltz because he's a method actor, so he was actually pushing him and almost broke his collarbone because of how many times he was getting into it.
Really?
In the shot where Marty punches Biff, that's actually Stoltz's shot.
That's the only good shot they make out of him?
No, also when the terrorists are chasing Marty, you can see Stoltz driving the car. So they did use a lot of stuff. Also, when Leah Thompson is talking to Marty in the bed, she's talking to Stoltz. So whatever they could use to not have the actors reshoot everything,
makes sense.
They made the most of it. But Stoltz's approach to the movie was just way too serious, and Zemeckis just wasn't a fan of it and thought he wasn't funny enough. He wanted a more Michael J. Fox kind of guy. But Michael J. Fox couldn't because he had obligations with the Family Ties sitcom. Ralph Macchio was considered to play Marty McFly. You okay? you like that one?
Ralph Macchio?
Ralph Macchio. Danielson, dude.
Yeah, it'd be cool. He has that glamour, you know. He always interact with older guys, you know.
He has the ability of not taking it serious, maybe. But he's not as bubbly as Michael J.
I don't know. Obviously, it was Michael J. Fox. Nailed it. Right?
John Cryer also auditioned for Marty McFly. And he said in the early scripts, the time machine was powered by Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I'm powered by Coca-Cola. But they always wanted Michael J. Fox, right? So after firing Stoltz, Michael J. Fox was brought in and he was pulling double duty. He was shooting Family Ties during the day and Back to the Future at night. So he was exhausted. And a lot of times they had to get security to go get him from his trailer because he's pulling double duty. It's too much. He was actually acting, what if you go to the past? You'd be like, freak the fuck out. You wouldn't be like, whoa, that's my mom. You know, kind of what Marty, I mean.
Like Marty,
like he's not Marty. He's like Michael J. Fox.
Oh, yeah, Michael.
But see, you can't see anybody else be Marty McFly, though.
No. Do you think that this it has to happen because he's named Marty and in the past her mom likes, oh, Marty.
That was like a theory that fans were questioning. Like, how did his parents not recognize their son?
I mean, the name.
I know I'm saying. This person who is so impactful in your life that you're going to name your son after them.
That,
how do you not remember what he looks like?
While he was growing up.
Yeah. Or Gail said in like a Reddit post in 2015, it was like, it was so long ago and it was only within the span of 8 days, but they didn't see each other that many times. So do you remember everybody you remember like that for a short period of time? But at the same time, it's like, if they were so impactful, why would you name your kid that?
Well, yeah. Well, the mom was most shocked about it. She was that.
But that is like
she had the heart for him.
That is a little plot hole. Like, if he didn't do it, where did they get Marty from?
Yeah. You're gonna name your son Marty. You were naming the first one, right? He was the youngest.
If you're gonna name your first one after your dad or somebody else like that, and then you have a second kid, you're like, oh, what do we name it? Oh, remember Marty? Marty was cool. The mom was like, yeah, I wanted to Marty. If they don't meet him, what's his name? After seeing the movie and confirming that everything I heard about the movie is actually true, I will say that this is damn near a perfect film. At the end, Doc comes up setting up the sequel. Is the sequel as perfect? I don't know. But the only way I can find out is you guys drop 100 likes on this video and we'll do the second one for you guys. I'm very glad I watched it. If you haven't, I think you definitely should. It's just Spielberg magic, similar to Jaws. And we've done Jaws, and I'll leave that for you right over here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everything you guys done for us. Always and forever. You do.